Welcome to Brainstorm MTG. I'm ELD, and this is Fast Effect, Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Mass. Here we have something really unique for you, some old school Magic the Gathering. I'm actually on camera here playing a Stasis deck running 2 Time Vaults. Of course, Atlantic Rules allows you to play up to 4 Time Vaults, and I figured, I've got to throw something together that uses more than 1 Time Vault. We'll see if I end up wanting more. I'm not running Twiddle. Some of the decks do run Time Vault and Twiddle to take extra turns. I'm just using it to skip turns with Stasis out. I do have a copy of Copy Artifact in there as well if I want additional Time Vaults. And we've got Mark on Goblins, a deck that he's actually borrowing here. This will be his first time having a chance to cast Black Lotus in an actual game of Magic. And we'll see how it goes for him. So that is not a keepable hand. Starting out, not enough mana. Stasis, a pretty mana-hungry deck. For those unfamiliar with Stasis, it is probably one of the least fun Magic cards ever printed. I mean, I love it, but not everybody can appreciate a good prison lock. Unfortunately, it does need to run Howling Mine, which is a card that gives both players an extra card per turn. And Stasis looks to lock the game out, making permanents not untap. We've got a Mox Pearl and a Mox Ruby here into a Howling Mine and an Ivory Tower. So going pedal to the metal here. Ivory Tower not going to get any cards into hand yet. I'm sorry, not going to get any extra life yet due to the fewer cards in hand in a couple of turns. Thanks to the Howling Mine, perhaps that'll be faster. Alternatively, could have curved out a little differently, just going with a turn 1 Ivory Tower, turn 2 Howling Mine, holding on to those Moxes. Ankh of Mishra now. That is a card that will potentially penalize any land drops. There's going to be some disenchants that can potentially get rid of it. Of course, Ivory Tower gaining life can offset that quite nicely. Down to 17 so far off of that Lightning Bolt. Goblin Balloon Brigade. And a Black Vice. That gets counterspelled. Black Vice would actually negate this Ivory Tower and then some. 3 cards drawn. Playing a land, taking some damage off of it. And now the named card here, Stasis. It's what the deck is named after. And if I play my cards right, this is likely going to be a wrap. Looks like Mark might have 8 cards in hand. Lightning Bolt. And Black Vice. That one sticks. That is really, really good here. Paying the blue. And drawing some cards. So this Black Vice, a real problem. This game would essentially be over without it. Life gain would just start to get completely out of control. Instead, this Black Vice counteracting this Ivory Tower. Down to just 9. Howling Mine means each player drawing 3 cards per turn. Now the real lock with this deck is Stasis plus Kismet. Once you get that assembled, all your opponent's permanents are going to be coming into play tapped. And there's not a whole lot they can do from there. So each turn now going to be losing 3 and gaining 3. Down to 4. Another mountain. And a Goblin Balloon Brigade. And that guy is potentially lethal. Black Vice getting taken down, and now gaining some life. Discarding Wheel of Fortune, so at just 5. This life gain. Going to be so crucial. Getting outside of burn range is going to be everything. Mark down to 10 now. Now just 4. Upkeep, Ivory Tower. Oh no, this is during the end step. So attempting to Pyroblast the Stasis during the end step. I gotta think that may have been an error there. So the options were Pyroblast it during the end step. Hope he doesn't have a bolt. Untap, gain a ton of life, have all of my mana back to do whatever I deem appropriate. And the other way of playing that would have been go to the upkeep, gain 3 life, then pay the 1 for the Stasis and hope to draw more. I mean, I was punished for it quite badly there, that lightning bolt taking it down. It may have been safer to do otherwise. Of course, each land drop going to do 2 damage, so would have kind of stabilized out. Potentially could have made land drops continuously. Goblin Grenade was a consideration as well. That could eventually come online. So that was a tough spot. Probably not quite enough life to really stabilize versus Goblins. They have 4 Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, Goblin Grenade. They can get down a Goblin, swing for 1. Do things to chip away at your life total. Post board, going to see a lot of options here. Blue Elemental Blast and additional Ivory Towers. Very good control cards. Blood Moon, a very scary card, though I don't believe Mark actually has it. Typically, you would assume that the mono red decks are going to have Blood Moon. One of the best things they can do is open up on, like a turn 1 Lotus for Blood Moon. That can make it very, very difficult for the control decks in the format, very often on 5-color mana bases, hinged around City of Brass. And another mulligan. Mulliganing does hurt Stasis here, given that it's looking to use Ivory Tower to generate extra life and stay out of range once the prison lock is established. So losing cards from hand, of course, not generally a good thing for control decks, but particularly punishing when your cards are actually referencing the actual number of physical cards in your hand like Ivory Tower does. Looks like keeping a 6 here with a Soul Ring. A little light on mana. Black Vice. Going to be taking 1. And, oh, a terrible start here. Oh, and Strip Mine on top of it. Goblin Artisan now. Well, City of Brass off the top. The deck is kind, but not too kind, as the city means I'll be suffering 1 point of damage every time I tap it. Templating on old cards is just amazing. You can tell that they had not figured it out. It was very inconsistent and flavorful. Time Vault coming into play tapped. Could be helpful. This Black Vice putting some real downward pressure. Swinging with a pair of 2/2s now, thanks to the Goblin King. City of Brass can essentially pay a point of life to protect against one of them. And nice. Now a Tundra, so the deck cooperating here. And gonna go ahead and jam a Stasis, so gonna need mana off the top. Usually this is where you need a Howling Mine to try and make sure that you continually hit your land drops. A Howling Mine or two can really make a big difference in between perpetually making all of those land drops. Kismet in hand, just really bottlenecked on mana. Ooh, blue Elemental Blast. It looks like Stasis is going to go next turn, and this is not what you want out of a Stasis deck. This is going to be just a critical fail here. Chain Lightning. Skipping a turn. Down to 6. So it is mitigated a little bit by this Time Vault. Going to at least get an untap step. But that is really not what you want to be doing. Ideally, you want to get rid of that Stasis with a Boomerang or a Disenchant, Red Elemental Blast, something to give you multiple turns in a row here. Instead, Time Vault essentially just serving to destroy the Stasis. And really just not enough mana. Oh, but a Demonic Tutor, I mean, that could be anything. So very interesting situation here. Stasis and Demonic Tutor. A little light on mana. Tabernacle. I'm not sure that that's actually going to be a particularly good play. Circle of Protection was potentially an answer to all of those guys anyways. It does stop Goblin Grenade. That may have been the line of thought there. Being at 5, Goblin Grenade is a dangerous looking card. That may not have been enough power. Making a land drop. Taking an extra turn, down to 4. And can potentially regrow the Stasis, but still without Kismet in play. Taking a point. And with the floating mana, playing the Stasis, it is worth noting that mana burn is a thing in this format. We've got some great mana burn stories from back in the day. And I believe this is going to get a little meta. I believe I actually got called from the match to assist a customer. And as I am recording this, the UPS guy just showed up, so got distractions on top of distractions. Just one of the many challenges of trying to run a fledgling YouTube channel along with the game store. It is not always pretty. But here at only 3 life, I think it's probably best to reflect on what that Demonic Tutor could have gotten that would have been better than that Tabernacle. Tabernacle does feel like an underwhelming card. I mean, I feel like I would literally rather have like a Mox Sapphire. Not that that would be a good card to get, but like Mox Sapphire would have literally been better. And the main thing here is getting down Kismet and getting rid of the Black Vice. I mean, even Ivory Tower probably would have been better. Shatterstorm. Mark not expecting to need to cast that. Extra turn being taken. So extra turn being charged up, I should say. Now it's a question of whether or not this City of Brass is gonna pay for the Stasis. Another city. Yeah, this life loss off of Black Vice. Absolutely huge. I mean, pretty much have to take an extra turn here. There's not a lot that can be done with those City of Brasses. I mean, I probably want to get Ancestral, would be my guess, with that Demonic Tutor. I believe there was a regrow later, so regrow Ancestral could have also pushed really far ahead. So, having seen this in hindsight, that is my current analysis. And now going to 1 life. Ruby. Brain Guys are not particularly helpful when you're facing down this Black Vice. And there's always the crackback with these factories, so this is no good. There's gonna draw 2 cards. They pretty much need to be borderline perfect cards. Maybe Lotus Disenchant. I don't even know. These factories likely to do me in as well. Geyser's going to go through, drawing 2 cards. 1, 2, Blue Blast. There's a Sapphire. And a Howling Mine. And that is going to just be the end of it here. These factories going to be able to team up. Looks like we've got a Summer and Fall Factory. Chain Lightnings and take your pick of win conditions. Mark taking it down in 2 with Goblins. A relatively budget deck as far as old school goes. It is running Black Lotus, but aside from that, the rest of this deck is super affordable, and it's certainly playable without it. So, yeah, old school is pretty sweet. Hopefully you guys enjoyed these matches. We'll be having another old school open in a month or 2. You can always check out the Facebook page or our website to see that if you're in the area. It is a good time, and hope you can make it down. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.